Today we bring you a story from our longtime Sai brother Tom called Wave of Bliss.
Basically, I went through a divorce. Basically, I lost my son. I only have one son. Business got bad. And it got to the point where I basically lost everything materially that I had. When I was in real estate was so difficult at that time, in the early 70s, that I actually had to move into my real estate office. And I had one of the rooms in the back. So I basically, everything that I cared about was gone. And my material life was really sinking. And luckily for me at that time, in my sales office, the way Swami always does, there was a fellow by the name of Cosby Powell that was in that office. And from a humor standpoint, I didn't know much about Cosby. I was looking, we had a pretty big office, so I took the wrong turn and went to this office. And I saw this Cosby Powell fella with his eyes closed and his hands very spiritually, with his hands over a dead plant. And when I saw that, I went, I do not want to disturb this guy because I don't think he's really right. So I just started backing away, and Cosby said, no, come in. I went, no, whatever you're doing, please continue. I really don't want to be involved with that. And as time went on, Cosby and I became very good friends, and that's how I started my spiritual path. And in 1979, Cosby Powell, this is a little humor. You're thinking about a very secular mind here, one that had been brought up thinking that Jesus was the only way. And at that time I worked for Cosby. I was selling property for Cosby. And he said, I think I have found the incarnation of Jesus. And I went, oh my God, I'm in trouble. I said, really? He said, here's his picture. And here I see a dark-faced man with his head of hair that comes out to here in an orange robe. And I went, oh my God, I am in trouble. I am just in trouble. And then he took a trip to see Sai Baba. When Cosby came back from seeing Sai Baba, there was a sweetness, a love, and he's a good old country boy, so, they can be in an accident where their family's been wiped out and they have a stiff upper lip and, well, I lost my family, but I guess we have to just keep on going, And just when he started talking about Sai Baba, his eyes would get very, very teary. And I went, boy, I've never seen this side of him. And Cosby had this wart, one of those Abe Lincoln warts is what I call it, right on the side of his nose. And he said, see this white powder? I said, yeah. He said, this is Vibhuti. That's from the ashram there. And Sai Baba has blessed this. And I'm going to put the Vibhuti on this wart, and my wart is going to be healed. And I went, really? I'm really in trouble. Why do I have to attract all these Looney Tunes into my life? I just can't believe this. Well, he started putting Vibhuti on. And then, lo and behold, after about a week, the wart started bleeding. And I went, that Vibhuti sure did help that wart. Now the thing is bleeding and it's cracking. It's uglier than it was before. Within a 2-week period, the wart actually fell off, left no scar. So I went, If he's right, there's a part of spirituality, there's a part of divinity that I know nothing about. Maybe. After we finished selling some property up in the mountains, Cosby said, you need to go to India. And I said, Cosby, I need some more product. Well, he said, the only thing that we have left is this property down south. I said, Cosby, you just finished selling the timber off of that property. It looked like it'd been napalmed. I mean, that is the ugliest property that I've ever seen. He says, well, that's all we have. And I said, you've been talking about wanting the miracle pray to Sai Baba and he'll help you. And I went, that's not funny. Here I am starving to death, and you're telling me to ask people to buy a piece of property that's virtually worthless because it's been cut over with all that heavy equipment. Well, needless to say, one miracle after another, people came out and they started buying that property and saying that, perchance, I just kind of was looking through the paper and I saw your ad, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. And I looked at that property like, this is exactly what you were looking for? This property has been cut over? He said, yep, I've had a vision, and I'm located in the right area, and I sold everything out with just enough money to stay in India for 2 months. So at that point in time, I started feeling that Sai Baba was a divine being. I didn't accept him as God at that time. So my first trip to go to India was to find out if he was really God, if he was really an expression of the divine like Jesus. It kind of took me by surprise, because when I first got there and I saw him walking around, I went, well, now he's very sweet. He doesn't even look like he's walking. He looks like he's floating. And he's very nice. But you spent over $3,000 to go on this trip, and you must be some kind of a dummy. How are you going to stay here when by the time you go back, you're going to be broke? If he's not God, you've basically taken the little money that you had and thrown it away for nothing. And I went, oh my God, what have I done to myself? And I can't express to you how frightened I was at that time.
Now I recall Haynes Kreider was there. What was he like?
He and I were roommates. In those days, we were staying in the new round building, and there was at least 4 or 5 of us in a room. And he was kind of a Southern gentleman, another like similar to Cosby Powell in that, the hurricane took my wife, family, my brother, sister, mother, father. Lord, it's just tough. So it wasn't a kind of a weepy type of person that really got moved from an emotional standpoint. Well, one day we were out in the village, and we've been there maybe a week and a half, and I heard the music, and I went, oh my gosh, we lost track of time. Swami's coming out for Darshan. So he and I rushed, and Swami was already out. And so we just kind of sat back in the back. And as Swami came walking by, I can't say that he looked at us, but he looked in our direction. And all of a sudden, simultaneously, the only thing I can say is I was hit with this wave of bliss. And I had never felt anything like that. And it was like it opened up my heart, and I felt a love and a peace and a tranquility and a state of being that I had never experienced before. I'm an emotional person, as you know, Tommy. You've known me for almost 25 years. And I just started weeping. Well, simultaneously, Haynes starts weeping too. And I went, Mr. Tough Guy is weeping like... And here we look like 2 little teenage girls weeping about something. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he just reached out and just patted me on my hand. And like, this is the most beautiful moment of my life. And it was that moment that gave me the inclination, no, you didn't waste your time coming here, but there's a lot for you to learn. And it was almost like, this is the beginning. The Tom that you think you are, this is the beginning of a new life for you.